Many people say the secret to a strong and healthy marriage is trust. However, when things start to look suspicious, it can often be difficult to trust your partner, despite all the love you feel. This is exactly what happened to John, a man from Pennsylvania who suspected that something was wrong with his marriage. Despite common sense, he decided to use a camera drone to follow his wife one day as she left for work. What he discovered while looking at the images came as an incredible shock to him. Before we start, can we get this video to 1,000 likes? Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. John and Donna were a seemingly happily married couple of 18 years who lived together in a lovely home in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. He loved his wife, and although they argued or got angry from time to time, John had always thought their marriage would last forever. However, after 18 years together, John began to think that maybe something was wrong with Donna. John and Donna had lived normal lives. John worked at home, and Donna had a job in the area. Sometimes she came home late after work, and she behaved a bit strangely when John asked her about it. Although he loved his wife, John couldn't help but be suspicious of what she said. He tried not to think about the possibility of Donna having an affair, but after a while it got too much. John decided he needed to know what Donna was doing when they weren't together. He strongly suspected his wife was seeing another man, but he didn't want to jump to conclusions. John was a photographer by trade, so he knew a lot about the recording and surveillance equipment available on the market. He decided that the best idea would be to follow her with a drone equipped with a camera when she went to work. One day, after carefully considering his plan, John loaded up and prepared the drone ready to follow Donna on her way to work. As Donna got ready to go to work that morning, John felt extremely nervous. As Donna left the driveway, John anxiously headed outside to get his drone airborne. He waited patiently before launching to make sure Donna wouldn't see the drone. Then he began to fly behind her. John knew which way she was taking to get to work, and for a few minutes she seemed to be on her usual route. However, after a few minutes, John's wife took a turn and started walking in another direction. John's heart sank. Was he right? Was Donna on her way to meet another man? Holding his breath, John continued to watch the footage from the drone. He found it hard to believe that she would cheat on him after so many years together. Very quickly, Donna pulled into an empty parking lot. Someone in a dark car was waiting for him. She loosened her hair in a ponytail and started brushing it. John then began to feel very angry. John thinks to himself, does she brush her hair? I don't know what she does. She makes sure her hair is groomed for that person. John slowly began to realize that his worst fears were about to come true. As Donna reached the car, any hopes John had were completely dashed. He watched in horror as his wife leaned over to the driver's seat window and kissed the man who sat inside. She then walked around the car and sat in the passenger's seat. As the car pulled out of the parking lot, John had his drone brought home. His heart was heavy, and he felt a lot of anger towards this stranger. Who was he? And how could Donna have done this? John began to think about what he should do and how this news would affect his children. He knew he had to tell Donna what he saw, but he was so mad at her that he wanted to take some time to calm down. 2 days after John caught his wife with a stranger, Donna came home from work. John had finally found the courage to confront him, and he was furious. John didn't know how Donna would react to this confrontation. Would she be sorry? Would she try to lie or explain the situation? At this point, John didn't care. He just wanted answers to all the questions he had. He angrily told her what he had seen and demanded that she explain herself. When she faced the wall, Donna immediately collapsed. She didn't even try to lie about what had happened. She just started crying her heart out. Donna felt guilty for what she had done, and she tried to explain what had happened. She told John about the man, telling him that she had only seen him a few times. She insisted it was nothing serious and swore she would end it. However, Donna's explanation just wasn't enough for John. John was really angry about this case. After confronting Donna, he felt like the relationship couldn't be fixed. After many arguments and anger, the couple finally decided that they could not continue like this. John didn't want to be with Donna anymore. He asked her to move out. With a heavy heart, Donna did as her husband asked. John accepted that Donna was sorry, but that wasn't enough. John just couldn't believe Donna had cheated on him after all they had been through together. He felt like he didn't know Donna anymore, and her presence hurt him too much. John was glad that Donna had finally moved on, and he thought it was the best thing for both of them. He thought Donna's absence would comfort him and help him get over his grief. However, after Donna finally moved on, John still felt like things weren't going well. He had thought that Donna's departure would help him move on, but he actually felt worse than ever. The house felt empty without Donna around, and John felt sad and lonely. Even though Donna had hurt him, part of him was gone. After 18 years of marriage, he was used to having her with him, and adjusting to life alone was harder than he thought. John was still upset and angry about this affair, but deep down he really wanted Donna back in his life. While they were living apart, John continued to talk with Donna, and he began to wonder if they could make things work between them. He decided to ask Donna if she wanted to come back and live with them and see how things would go. John felt like he could get over his affair and have a happy life with his wife, the one he loves. She'd also missed Donna's life alongside her husband and hoped for another chance to turn things around. She had learned a lot from this experience, and she was sorry to have started seeing another man. When John asked her to come back and live with him, she enthusiastically accepted. She knew things weren't going to be easy, but she wanted to do her best to reconcile with John. Since Donna and John moved back together, things have been going well for the couple. They are both happy in their relationship, and they are more sure than ever that they want to be together. For Donna, the separation had been a stark reminder of how much she loved her husband and how important it was to be faithful to him. She regrets having an affair, but surprisingly, she has positive things to say about how her husband surprised her. Although some people may think that stalking his wife with a drone is a violation of privacy, John and Donna are both happy that John did what he did. Catching her with another man and breaking up for a while strengthened their love. John says following her with the drone actually saved their marriage. According to him, if he hadn't surprised Donna from that far away, things could have gotten out of hand with the other man, and that could have made their marriage irreparable. By being followed with the drone, Donna and her husband had the opportunity to see what really mattered before it was too late.